So, as a lot of you guys are aware, the Last of Us TV show has completely turned me off to the point where I actually didn't even finish watching it. I stopped exactly where I said I was going to stop. I did reviews for episodes 1 through 6, and ultimately I stopped at episode 7. I didn't even watch it simply because of the way the showrunners and the people who worked on that show were talking to the fans, the way they were treating the fans, and ultimately the stuff that they would say. And when they tell me if I don't like it, don't watch it, then ultimately I'm not going to watch it. I don't feel like I should give them the view. I don't feel like I should give them the money. And even though I am one YouTuber just watching the content for other people so they don't have to watch it, I can't even convince myself to give them that one view, even if it stops thousands of others from watching it. I still just can't do it. I just hate the show or what they stand for that much, and it just turns me off. But why am I talking about The Last of Us? So apparently now, the showrunner Craig Mazin just said that the season 2 of HBO's The Last of Us will be different radically, but Bella Ramsey will not be let go. Now, I don't know where this talk about Bella Ramsey being let go. I must have missed something because again, I haven't really been caring about The Last of Us news because ultimately I stepped away from that TV show. But the fact that they're talking about letting go of Bella Ramsey, I'm not exactly sure why that was even brought up. But of course, being different radically does not surprise me, considering that the show was starting to change more and more throughout the season. It started off very canonical. It started off very well. I gave it a high praise. And then ultimately, it started its nonsense with the Bill and Frank episode, changing up the story completely. And then it kind of went from there. So again, it did ultimately end where it should have ended, with Ellie obviously going to the Fireflies and Joel trying to save her and stop them from doing the surgery on her. Obviously, it did end where it was supposed to, but the journey it took to get there was a completely different journey ultimately, and I just couldn't support it. So let's see what this article has to say regarding how different it's going to be. It says The Last of Us HBO series is getting a second season that is guaranteed to be different from the game, and even more so from the first season. A considerable number of viewers who are fans of the game believe the show is a faithful adaptation, though flawed, while others took it as a task for radical departures. The latter can look forward to more of the same change and liberties, according to the showrunner Craig Mazin and The Last of Us creator Neil Druckmann. Season 2 will be different just as this season was different, Mazin said at a press conference covered by IGN. Sometimes it will be different radically, and sometimes it won't be fairly different at all, but it's going to be different. He continued, it will be its own thing. It won't be exactly like the game. It will be the show that Neil and I want to make, but we are making it with Bella. Mazin is referring to the potential of Bella Ramsey, who plays Ellie, being recast due to the 5-year time jump between The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so they were talking about potentially recasting her simply because there is a 5-year time jump. So that I understand. But again, she looks just, I don't know. She's it's not really something that I can see them doing that will be successful. Like, why would you recast her at this point? She is an older person. She's not old, but I'm just saying she's an older person, and I don't really see why you would need to time jump her and remove her and replace her with someone else, especially since she has such very specific features to her. I don't really know if you're going to find anyone older than her that can pull off her face. Like, it's a very particular face. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see anybody else looking like this but older. It says that would justify someone new portraying Ellie if season 2 sticks with the game's premise or timeline, but Mazin and Druckmann must be figuring out a way around things. They fervently and adamantly want to keep working with Ramsey and vice versa. We are extremely lucky to have Bella, and the stuff you saw throughout this entire season, Druckmann said. Well, why would they want to get rid of her in the first place? Because, ultimately, that's their poster child, right? Not only is she non-binary, so there is that. Like, she's going to be able to use that to stay relevant in basically anything outside of The Last of Us or within The Last of Us. All she has to do is go on an interview and talk about how she's non-binary, and that's it. The press is going to eat it up. Twitter's going to eat it up. Everybody's going to like and retweet it. It's the same typical nonsense. But on top of that, not only are they going to have the non-binary thing, but I have a feeling they're probably going to make Abby trans. I feel like they missed the mark with that the first time, not making her trans, just because her body's absolutely insane and definitely is not a real body for a woman, especially in a post-apocalyptic world. But if they make her trans, it will give them the opportunity to virtue signal while also utilizing another character who is non-binary. So now you have a trans character and a non-binary character all in your TV show. You are ultimate wokeness, and that's what Neil Druckmann's always aiming for, because he is still to this day trying to convince Anita Sarkeesian that he is the man. So it says the only way we would ever consider recasting Bella is if she said, I don't want to work with you guys anymore. Even then, I'm not sure we would grant her that. We might still force her to come back to season 2, he added. Well, that's interesting choice of words there. Mazin then offered the Ramsey is now 19 or so her age, matching Ellie's in The Last of Us Part 2 isn't problematic. Ramsey's 19 now, which by the way is the age of Ellie in The Last of Us Part 2, Mazin said. HBO just aired The Last of Us Season 1 last episode, and we aren't likely to see the second season until 2024 or 2025, so it's reasonable to think by then Ramsey will look mature enough to continue in the co-lead beside Pedro Pascal. Well, the thing is, Pedro Pascal, as you guys are aware, is probably not going to last very long in the TV show. But again, from what they're saying that they're going to be making this season much longer. So of course they burned through the first season because they wanted to get over the story of Joel and his toxic masculinity. They wanted to go from 0 to 100 really quick with that story, get it over with, and get to the story about the girls. That's what they want to do. Oh, I'm sorry, the non-binaries at this point, because Abby might end up being non-binary for all I know, not trans. But still, they wanted to get to the story about the girls. They didn't want to get to the story about Joel. They wanted to finish this story right away. They didn't care about giving Joel a great story. Obviously, they want to focus on Ellie. They want to focus on Abby. They want to focus on that little dynamic duo that's going to happen between the two after Abby ends up killing Joel. And I don't know if they're going to do a faithful adaptation and kill off Joel right away, or if they're going to wait to the, maybe the middle point of the storyline before they kill off Joel, and maybe have the second season end with Abby meeting Joel. That's probably what's going to happen, because I just don't see them coming out the gate swinging like that, because it's going to get a lot of people just either mad or not invested, and they're going to want to wait until the very end of the second season. At least that's what I think. But again, if they're going to radically change so much stuff as they say they are, I can only imagine what they're going to end up doing with the storyline with Abby and Joel. I don't have a lot of faith in it. I am not going to be watching it no matter how good it is, no matter how much people want me to, no matter who asks me to do it. I'm just not going to watch it. I'm going to move on to other stuff that's more important to me. And this TV show is going to live in its own little bubble that I'm never going to touch. So if you guys want to talk about The Last of Us, I'm all for talking about it, but I'm never going to review it, and I'm never going to do any other videos on it like I was before. I could do this stuff, talk about what's happening within the show itself, but I'm just not going to do the actual episodic stuff. So ultimately, I do think they're going to change it drastically. They are trying to play on their words. They're trying to make it seem like it's not going to be very drastic, but I guarantee you, with the way Neil Cuckman is thinking and with the way this guy Craig Mazin is thinking, it's probably going to be so drastic to the point there even fans, even if you have fans of The Last of Us Part 2, those people will probably be like, what the hell are you doing? It's going to be that different. It's going to be Bill and Frank different. That's the level of different that I'm thinking it's going to be. So we're going to ultimately see what happens as the time goes on. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.